Well, we're past the halfway point, now into tier number 5. This will cover numbers 53 through 65. Number 65, Empress of Mars, i.e., the ninth episode of Series 10. Well, I think Series 10 is up and down in terms of quality. Empress of Mars, I think, was still a pretty fun episode. I mean, you got Victorians on Mars and Ice Warriors, and a new female Ice Warrior. So, yeah. Number 64, The Bells of St. John, the sixth episode of Series 7. A nice introduction episode for at least the latest version of Clara. A nice part played by Celia Imrie, who I remembered from things like Legends of Tomorrow and For Dinner Ladies, and a nice kind of plot thread of how much Wi-Fi can have a control over us. Number 63, Deep Breath, the first episode of Series 8. Like with The Bells of St. John, a nice episode to introduce Peter Capaldi with, a fairly sinister creature with a half-faced man, and it does leave us with a few questions, which, I'll admit, still haven't quite been answered. Did he push you? Did he push you out of that thing, or did you fall? We may never know. Number 62, The Shakespeare Code, the second episode of Series 3. Another one that's on my guilty pleasure marathon, but I will admit there are a few episodes better than it. But not to say it's bad once again. I mean, you got Doctor Who, Witches, Shakespeare, and everything slots together and works very well. Number 61, The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, i.e. the fourth and fifth episodes of Series 5. I do question whether it was necessary to bring back the Weeping Angels, considering they were so good in the one episode they had, which was Blink. But this is a nice way to go about it. I mean, they're still fairly sinister, they're still very creepy, and they do manage to create some very good moments, such as when the Doctor shoots out the gravity ball. That's a fairly iconic moment. So, I guess it was warranted. Number 60, School Reunion, i.e. the third episode of Series 2. A great reintroduction to the series for Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith and K9, and Anthony Head as the villainous Mr. Finch. Oh boy, he does well. I've been on a bit of an Anthony Head binge lately with things like Merlin and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and after watching Buffy, where he's pretty much a good guy all the way through, suddenly come back and see him as a villain. Yeah, this guy has range. Number 59, Listen, i.e. the fourth episode of Series 8. I saw people at the time regard this as one of the best Doctor Who episodes of Series 8. I admit it's good. I'm not sure I'm quite on the level of everyone else. I mean, maybe they just like the episodes where things kind of dive deeper and make you think about things, which, yeah, I suppose it is, but, I mean, the monster under your bed, that's just something we can all take for granted, and, I don't know, Listen, I admit, is a good episode, but I don't know if I really compare it that high amongst everything else. Number 58, The Rings of Akhaten, the seventh episode of Series 7. The first proper trip for Clara and the TARDIS after The Bells of St. John, and a rather nice one it is too. I mean, the music in this episode is fantastic, and while I admit the way that they solve things out is a little... It's up to you for that one, but it still does contain one of Doctor Who's best speeches from Matt Smith. Hold on a sec. Right. Number 57, The Zygon Invasion and the Zygon Inversion. A pretty good follow-up to The Day of the Doctor, showing how things have changed with the Zygons around, and a Zygon revolution may be happening. Plus, it does also lead to some of Peter Capaldi's best acting, especially when they get to the Black Archive. His entire speech about war, I think it's something we all could learn from. Number 56, The Sontaran Stratagem and the Poisoned Sky, i.e. the fourth and fifth episodes of Series 4. Once again, a nice reintroduction episode for one of Doctor Who's most classic foes, the Sontarans. and one that does also give you a little bit of a message about our fossil fuels and our use of cars over time, which, yeah, still pretty good, but uh, I've seen people who like this episode, people who don't, but I still think it's a good one. Number 55, the fifth episode of Series 12, Fugitive of the Judoon. Now, while I didn't include Series 12 on my Guilty Pleasures list, if I had to make a choice for which one would be up there, it would definitely be Fugitive of the Judoon. I mean, it's reintroducing another great Doctor Who obstacle with the Judoon, who I don't believe we'd saw since Series 9. And you got the return of Captain Jack Harkness, and it's just brilliant. I personally think this isn't one of the better episodes of Series 12, but it's certainly a guilty pleasure for me. Number 54, Smith and Jones, i.e. the first episode of Series 3. Well, yeah, we go from one Judoon adventure to back to their first, actually, from 2007. You got the Judoon, a great performance by Anne Reid as the villain, and a pretty tense atmosphere. I mean, Hospital on the Moon, that's pretty exciting. And topping off Series 5, well, no, not Series 5, Tier 5, is number 53, The Runaway Bride, i.e. the Christmas special of 2006. Now, this might cause a little bit of confusion. When I rank the Runaway Bride up against all the Christmas episodes, this one comes fairly low. Like, I believe it's only one step above The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. But when you compare it to everything else, it does do fairly well compared to. Okay, how best to explain this? If I compare it to everything Christmas related, it's fairly low and below one of my guilty pleasure specials, The Return of Doctor Mysterio. However, when you compare it to everything else, The Return of Doctor Mysterio ranks fairly low, and The Runaway Bride actually does have some good stuff about it. Once again, it's a nice show. It's the great introduction for Catherine Tate, who would later come back and become much better. David Tennant's acting his heart out. You got a pretty cool villain with Arachnos, but yeah, it's at the top of Tier 5 for now. So, will I have a Tier 4? Well, we'll wait and see. Till then, see ya.